Hey everybody, welcome back to All Things Taeler, my YouTube channel. I am super awesome, wicked stoked excited for the first ever inaugural Wicked Q&A Wednesday. And I will say that in reverse, so let's not judge too much, okay? And furthermore, let's get all the hate out now. I know every time I even mention the Patriots, everybody goes on blast and I lose followers. But hey, I'm from Boston. I'm allowed. I hope y'all are just loving my 7 to 10 foot sunflowers. I grow them every year. They make me so happy. They're my favorite. Yay! It's my season, y'all. So what can Taeler Hendrix not do should be the question. Anyways, so every week, I'm really excited to start doing some really fun themed things with you guys. I'm going to be doing Wicked Q&A Wednesdays every week, as well as Fun Fact Fridays. You guys never know whose questions I will be choosing on social media, and it'll be a lot of fun. Coming up, I'm going to have cooking tutorials for my cooking show. I'm going to have educational stuff for young kids. I'm going to be uploading my book here for people that are maybe cannot afford to buy my children's books for their kids. So I want it to be accessible for everyone and so much more. So much more. I'm so excited. Okay, so for the first ever Q&A Wednesday, I picked out 3 questions from social media. The first is a long one. It's from Twitter, and it was super awesome. The person immediately subscribed when I told them that I was going to be starting Q&A Wednesdays in a couple weeks. So here it is. The first Q&A Wednesday question ever. It's going to be legend. Wait for it. Dairy. Yes, I am a fan of How I Met Your Mother. Anyways. The first question was from Twitter, and they asked me what was the inspiration behind me choosing a tombstone pile driver as a finisher, and did it in any way have anything to do with The Undertaker? So first off, yes! Mentioning me in the same sentence as the other Undertaker, thank you so much. You can tell how excited I am because I'm like, growing up, I loved watching The Undertaker. I thought he was so cool. Seeing him at live events was just awesome. Yeah, I'm totally don't care about being a mark. Like, let's be pros at being fans, guys. Like, let's be real. I don't think I met anyone in wrestling that was like, yeah, I hated wrestling growing up, so I decided to be it, brother. Like, that just never happened. So let's all just like chill out and be cool and be pros at being fans, you know? Anyways, the idea of a tombstone pile driver really started coming from me wanting to be different and me wanting to set a level a little bit higher for myself. I've always been a professional that wants to be the best at what I can do. You know, I've on my upcoming podcast with Shaw Guerrero, I talk about, you know, dye everyone's hair red in the locker room. I don't care. I am still going to be Taeler Hendrix, and I will still stand out because the hair doesn't wear me. I wear the hair. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I just always wanted to be the most well-rounded performer that I could be. You know, so the point where when people are like, oh, who's your favorite wrestler? Or who do you really enjoy watching and think has the total package? I want them to be able to say Taeler Hendrix and it not be a joke. That's always been my thing. You know, I always wanted to be as good as the guys, if not better. I always wanted to be able to go toe to toe and hold my own and be exciting and be different, you know, and that's kind of what I brought to the independents, I think, is my difference. Like, not many girls were wearing one pieces, not many women had my martial arts experience. So I don't know, to me, coming up with the tombstone pile driver was out of the blue, but not at the same time, because when I was only a couple years in the business, I went to my first seminar. And a lot of people don't know, I paid and went to tons of seminars to get better and learn from people that had more experience than me. Like, I set up rings for over 10 years. Like, when I was on Spike TV, I was still setting up rings, going to training, paying dues. Like, I was that type of wrestler. And I still am. Like, I'll still be at shows and like, hey, do you guys need any help? Like, I'm not above that. I think there's girls and guys that have been in the business less than 2 years and they think they're above that stuff. To me, that all goes into a good show, you know? So I've never been above it. But so one of my first ever seminars that I paid for was a Terry Taeler seminar. And I was so green, guys. I didn't know my hand from my elbow. I was the one girl revolution. Goodies never say die. It's so me. It's so funny. And so we're all standing in a line outside of the ring, and Terry Taeler's going down the line asking people what their finisher is. And this guy, oh my God, I was so scared, guys. Like, it's my first ever seminar. This is my first ever impression of seminars. And this guy, a couple positions ahead of me, doesn't know what his finisher is. And he's like, oh, I don't know. I don't really have one yet. and they brought him in the ring and sugared him. Now, I'd heard of this hold, I'd heard horror stories, but seeing it in person was nuts. Like, the more he struggled, the worse the hold got. It was insane, like so old school. And then like one or two people happened, then me, and I'm like, duh, 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 like Porky Pig, and then I was just like, clothesline, you know? And so for the whole day, like the clothesline was my finisher. And what's funny is fast forward a few years after that is when I'm at OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling, and I do this clothesline to somebody, I believe it was like Rob Terry, this crazy huge Welsh guy, right? And he bumps for me. Oh gosh, bless his heart. And Rip Rogers yells, oh, 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 an 11-inch python knocking down a jacked Galifianakis. Okay. It was just so funny. Like, that's how they talked over there. And of course he was ribbing me, and it's like very funny. And so I ribbed back. Like, I had like one moment of courage, and I was like, oh, you mean this 12-inch python? But what he meant was how ridiculous in pro wrestling this, you know, spaghetti arm knocks down this giant dude at practice, you know, and it is laughable. I mean, come on, like, really. So fast forward, you know, I'm in a tag team tournament. I'm already starting to use the tombstone, but I'm kind of only flirting with it at that point. You know, I thought, wow, this is great. You know, I can do this in my own way, and people don't realize how strong I am, so I can do this to almost anyone. You know, I'm deceptively strong, which is hilarious. And you know, I was going back and looking at my matches, studying tape and seeing like how I can get better and things like that. And I would hear on commentary, oh, she doesn't want to go toe to toe with so-and-so. Oh, I don't think she wants to get into a strike contest with this person. Or, oh, I don't think she can lift this person. And it's like, what? Like, it made no sense to me. It's like people didn't realize that they were like talking down about me in the ring and like on commentary and all the time. And it's like, I have some of the best strikes. Like, I love my strikes. Like, they're snug but safe. Like, I make somebody want to bump, you know, because it makes us both look good. So it's hilarious. And like, fast forward, I've put Lufisto, Allison Kay, Madison Rain, Angelina Love, Deanna Perrazzo, Kelly Klein, Veda Scott, Mandy Leon, and so many more in my tombstone. Never hurt a single person. And when people aren't comfortable taking it, I know the way to get in and out of it and do another finisher. So it's like, it makes me laugh. But what really cemented in my brain that this is what I wanted to do was after a tag team tournament at Queens of Combat, a girl who's now a TNA Knockout, and by the way, I'm so happy to see her there because she's been in the business way longer than me. She's worked so hard, so it's really awesome to see that come full circle for her. Like, kudos, congrats. Like, you're showing your kids what crushing goals really looks like. That's amazing. She knows what I'm talking about. So she was having a rough day, and it happened to be that it was a tournament, and I took care of her in the ring, I guess, and I guess I did a good job with like keeping everything on track, communicating in the ring and stuff like that. And so she goes and tells the booker who knew me, it was like, you know, Taeler proved that she's not just a pretty face today. She proved that she can go, that she can work. And the booker told me, and I was like so stunned because I know this sounds funny, but I grew up as a tomboy, 100%. Like, I played all kinds of sports. I read books. Like, I wasn't allowed to wear makeup. I still to this day have no idea how to use an actual curling iron. Like, for real, that's a real fun fact. Like, I can use a curling wand, a hair straightener, but I have no concept on how to use a curling iron. And I didn't know how to do makeup, nothing. We weren't allowed to wear it. So to hear someone say that I proved I was not just another pretty face, I had no idea. I was like, mind blown. I had no idea that that's how people actually viewed me. And that made me really want to crush my matches even harder, showing people that I was more versatile and more than just TNA, you know. And that's where I finally was like, okay, this tombstone is what I'm going to do now. Like, I got this. Like, and that's when I started to try to elevate my game more. And now obviously lung disease changed that for me until I learned how to get it under control, and now I'm better than ever, thank goodness. But yeah, my in-ring work, like, I gained weight for a little bit and things like that, and had to relearn how to wrestle, basically, based around, you know, restrictions and things. And yeah, and no other girl was doing it the way I knew I could. You know, you had Jessica Havoc doing her own tombstone. I believe Mia Yim was doing a package pile driver, but me, I had like a modified tombstone where I do all the work. And I loved that. And it's so unexpected, you know. When people look at me, fans wouldn't expect a tombstone pile driver, you know. When people look at me, I want to look like a super villain, you know, like I popped right out of a comic book. That was my goal, and I think I achieved that. And the tombstone, I just thought it was a great way to be like, you know. So that's how the tombstone came about. It was a spur of the moment decision, but it was also like a long time coming. You see what I'm saying? So to be compared to The Undertaker, I think that's pretty awesome, although I think he's leagues ahead of me. But that's pretty awesome. That's dope. I'll take it. My second question that I was asked was, would I have taken on Medusa in her prime? First off, thank you again for putting me in the same sentence as Medusa. That is amazing. I've had mentors like Princess Victoria, who is WWF Tag Team Champions, along with Velvet McIntyre. She has been so influential for me, and she was very influential during that time period, in the 80s and early 90s and the late 70s and stuff. And you know, don't even get me started about how much I love Sherry Martel, guys. Do not even get me started. If you watch my work, you will see influences of her like crazy in my stuff. One time I got the chance to work with Leilani Kai. I was really huge into the Glamour Girls and stuff. And I went back and watched all of that stuff, and like Wendy Richter and whatnot. So would I take on Medusa in her prime in WCW? Abso-freaking-lutely. I would love that opportunity. Heck yeah. Heck yeah, let's hop in that DeLorean, man, and we're gonna do it. My third question was kind of like a question, but okay, why not? Because sometimes people like to give me a lot of flack for it, and it's like, you know, to me, I'm just like, haters are just undercover fans, and they just don't want anybody to know it. So, somebody asked me, why do I follow so many people, and why am I always like talking to people that don't matter? Which I thought was hilarious. To me, all my fans matter. I may not be able to get to see every little thing, but I try my best. I mean, I'm one woman, so I think I'm pretty proud of how much I am able to interact with people. Like, I make it a part of my job. I make it something that I look forward to. And the reason why is because back when I was a few years in the business, this one experience, guys, taught me more of who I wanted to be in the business than any vet that beat me up in the ring. This one instance taught me more than any of the beatings I took to pay my dues, kid, in the ring. And let me just say, guys, there's a very big difference between paying dues versus abuse. If any of you guys have seen my my podcast on RussosBrand.com called Talks with Taeler Hendrix, you will see that I am not the only one that says that. Alpha Female has said it. Shazza McKenzie, D'Lo Brown, Selena De La Renta, I said Alpha Female, Leo Rush, and so many more people. Okay, so even Vicky Guerrero. So for me, it's like, I know I'm not saying something that's like rocket science. It's just more people need to say it and mean it. So this one instance taught me more than any of the beatings I took, any bags that I carried, any coffees that I got, any rings that I said. This taught me more than anything. So I was getting bullied when I was a couple years in the business, and I was getting very frustrated because I felt like I had plateaued, and I always wanted to be better. I always wanted to do more, learn more, be the best that I could be, and be the only me that there ever could be, you know? And so I was flirting with the idea of either moving to Florida or moving to Ohio Valley Wrestling. And that was gonna be a big decision. I'd never lived away from home before. I was very, needed guidance, and I had no mentor. So I messaged on Facebook. I don't even know how I found her Facebook. I messaged Lisa Marie Varon and Victoria, or if you guys are TNA fans, Tara. And I told her what was going on. I told her the decision I was flirting with, and that I was kind of leaning more towards OVW because it was a different decision that most people wouldn't make. And I thought, you know, why not me? And she actually messaged me back. She didn't know me from Adam. She was so nice. She messaged me back. And it wasn't like some fake person pretending to be her. She had actual facts. She was like, yo, this person down at OVW will look after you. It's a great decision. I was there. I don't regret my time there. Blah, 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 blah. That's a great decision, Taeler. Rooting for you, basically, and yada, yada, yada. And that was like a monumental moment in my career, because fast forward, who do I get to wrestle for my gut check? Lisa Marie Varon. And Lisa Marie Varon is one of the first women I saw on TV that made me think, oh wow, I can be a wrestler too. You know, because I was this gothy, nerdy tomboy growing up, you know, and I didn't look like all those girls on TV. Much to my dismay, guys. Like, I was like, oh, when I hit puberty, I'm gonna look like a Gwen Stefani, Tori Wilson. Like, I was so sure of it. I was like, look at me, I'm gonna be a Trish Stratus one day. I just need a tan, right? No, girl, no. Like, nothing like that. And then I saw Lisa Marie Varon, and I was like, oh my gosh, this woman is stunning. She looks psychotic. Her gimmick is amazing. She is so athletic. She is strong. She is beautiful. I was like, if she can do this, and she's like making her own mold, like, I can do this too. And that was the biggest decision for me to be like, wow. And so for her to message me not knowing me from Adam, I'm a nobody to her, like an insignificant little ant, and she treated me like I was a person. And that was just so amazing. And I decided that one day I was going to be like that too. And for anybody that's ever met me at conventions, they know I am that way in person. This isn't just some fake front on social media. Like, I'll talk to somebody for almost 10 minutes if I want to, you know. That's why I love conventions so much. Gosh, I love it, especially WrestleCon, man. Oh, I meet so many of you amazing people from all over the world I would never have been able to meet otherwise. So freaking cool. But yeah, so that's the reason why I follow so many people, and why I ask you guys questions on social media, and why I try to reach out to people and just try to be a little positive light in what may have been somebody's very negative, very bad, toxic day. Because I know what that feels like, and I want to be that source of change for somebody like Lisa Marie Varon was to me. And you know, she probably doesn't even remember that. I mean, she was so freaking busy. Let's be honest, this was probably like circa 2009, maybe, not even. This was right before I went my first time at Ring of Honor, when I was super green. Yeah, so like I was literally a nobody to her. I was not on the radar. I was not like even close yet to the up and comer. So that's one of the many reasons why I was like, this is who I want to be someday. This is the type of person I want to be in the world one day. And that is why I follow so many people. That is why I see other people following more people, like John Cena. You know, like, it matters, guys. It matters. Let's be pros at being fans. I have never once, it's so silly, but I keep saying it, I have never once heard a person say, yeah, I hated wrestling growing up, brother. That's why I decided to be a wrestler. I've never heard that. That makes no sense. So we all started doing this because we loved it. We watch it because we love it. So why are we talking down to each other? Like, there needs to be wrestlers for people to watch wrestling, and there needs to be fans who are buying the stuff for it to be a business. So let's just be pros at being fans, period. We're all people. Be kind. You never, ever know what's going on behind the scenes, guys. People could be the most talented wrestlers in the world and some of the worst people. Talent and integrity are not mutually exclusive. You have no idea what's going on in somebody's life, so just be kind. And that is why I'm always saying, be free with your authenticity. You know, people can fake it on social media for so long, but eventually they're going to get exposed as being phonies. It's just a matter of time. So for me, I think the biggest power play anybody can have and anybody can do is just being yourself, and always trying to be bettering yourself every day, and being free with your authenticity. Nobody can have power over you anymore once you are being free with your authenticity. That's one of the biggest things I got out of Lisa Marie Varon doing what she did. You know, so I hope after you guys watch this, you go on her Twitter and on her Instagram and just tell her that, like, without her, there may not be a Taeler Hendrix, because that's the truth. Like, yeah, she did a kind thing when she didn't have to. She had no skin in the game. She didn't know me. But I also had to take it one step further and follow through with that. So yeah, if she hadn't done that, maybe I wouldn't have moved to OVW. Maybe I would have quit wrestling. Who knows? But all I know is that one moment taught me more than any of the dues that I paid in wrestling. Because that was a wrestler who had been somewhere. She is somebody. She did amazing, epic, milestone things that contributed to this women's revolution that we talk about nonstop today. You know, she is a woman that does not get enough credit. And because of her, there is a me. And that's the bottom line. Not because Stone Cold said so, but because Taeler Hendrix did. So let's just be kind. So thank you so much for the first ever Wicked Q&A Wednesday. I hope it was awesome and epic and so much. Stay tuned this Friday for the first ever Fun Fact Friday. I've got so much coming, guys. And also be on the lookout for my second children's book coming out. If you have not seen the first one, it's called It's Not Easy Being a Sloth by Taeler Hendrix, and that's available on barnesandnobles.com as well as amazon.com in the US, Canada, and the UK. The second one is going to be hitting the proverbial shelves very soon. I am super excited with all the things that are going on. Thank you so much for being a part of the Taeler Army, and stay tuned.